These are things that I don't want to happen in Stranger Things Season 5. The first and biggest mistake this season can make is keeping every single one of the main cast of characters alive to end this season. At least one of them needs to be killed off. As Ego once said, I know that sounds bad, but let me explain. Feels like every single season Stranger Things has introduced a brand new lovable character and they end up being the ones to be killed off because there has to be high stakes with the events that everybody's dealing with, but they don't want to kill off one of the main cast of characters because they kept wanting the show to go for more seasons with the core group, which is all fine and well. I understand you want to keep the core group together, and I honestly didn't mind it up until this point, but now we are here at the big final showdown. Someone needs to go. Fortunately for Steve Harrington, I think he has the best odds to die in this season. First of all, he already had the redemption arc, so now he can fully conclude that with having like a great sacrifice to save the rest of the kids or something like that. And plus him being like the oldest one in the group just makes it seem most likely that he would be the one they kill instead of one of the younger kids. There's of course a good chance that something has to happen with Eleven where she has to fully sacrifice herself or something and she ends up dying. I don't think this is very likely, but again, it's the end of the show, so who knows what could happen by the final episode. I could see her definitely dying. Will Byers is another popular pick, and it's honestly because people are A, fed up with this character in the last season, and B, fed up with the actor. Whatever your reasoning is, I do also think he has a pretty decent chance of dying in this season, especially since season 1 was all about him, and a lot of the show was really centered around this character, so I could really see him being the one to have the big death at the end of it. Not having the same tone as season 4 would also be a huge mistake because this had a lot more horror elements than ever before in the show, and I think that really worked. And like, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love season 3 too, and that's a super goofy and silly season in a lot of ways, even though there are serious moments, but I don't think having this type of tone and humor would work for the big final. And honestly, I think they should go even further in the more horror elements in this season than ever before. I think my greatest fear for the season is that it ends up just being that the kids were playing a game of Dungeons and Dragons all along, and that's what we were watching, just the game in their imaginations, and this wasn't really happening to them. Like, everybody's constantly making jokes about how ending your story with something like it was all a dream is like one of the worst and corniest things you could possibly do, but I somehow think ending it with it all being Dungeons and Dragons all along would be somehow worse. But with that being said, I'm also going to be kind of pissed off if they don't have some cringy Stranger Things title drop in the show. Like, oh, I've seen Stranger Things by the final episode. It would be a clunker of a line, but I want to hear it, honestly. Now, let's get a little bit back on track to more serious things. I also really don't want them to completely just erase the Upside Down and get rid of it for good, but it does seem like that's what they're kind of trying to do because the final episode is actually called The Right Side Up. I think keeping the Upside Down open and having it be something that everybody in the world now knows about, and maybe you turn it into a good thing like the spirit world in Korra where both worlds are kind of merging together. I think something like that could be really cool instead of just straight up, oh, we just deleted this from existence somehow. Not bringing back Mr. Clark would be another huge mistake. I feel like, especially with where everything ended up in the story, it would make a lot of sense for the kids to maybe go back to him in some way, shape, or form. There have been rumors that he was seen on set, but I couldn't personally find any of the set photos. And even though he's like more of a minor character, he's always been one of my favorites whenever he showed up in an episode, and I hope the season doesn't just like completely forget about him and abandon this guy. I do not want them to just shove Callie, aka 8, back into this series back in season 5. If you don't know, she was a sister of 11 back in that season 2 spin-off episode that was absolutely terrible. Listen, the concept of this character could have been cool, but you had the episode to test it out and it completely flopped. If you bring her back now randomly 3 seasons later, and especially if she's like a big important part of the climax of the entire story, it's just gonna feel so random. So many people are gonna be like, why on earth is she here? Who is this chick? Because they're not even gonna remember this terrible episode. Just do not bring her back. I think another big mistake is if at the conclusion of the story, whatever it is, killing Vecna, making some big sacrifice, something happening with the Upside Down, whatever the big main event is at the end of this, if the show just ends like immediately after the big conclusion and we don't get a decent amount of time watching everybody live their regular lives now, get a little bit of slice of life action. Like, no, I don't want just 5 minutes of seeing everybody live happily ever after they finally defeat Vecna or whatever, and I don't want like a 19 years later epilogue like Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. This scene in the book and the movie is still one of my least favorite in the entire Harry Potter series because it just ends so incredibly abruptly at the end of the Deathly Hallows and then immediately cuts to 19 years later and you get this like 3-minute scene. You know, these Stranger Things 5 episodes are going to be like an hour and 20 minutes long each, probably just like season 4 was. So you have plenty of time. Give us like a 2-hour final episode and spend like 40 minutes just wrapping everything up and giving us a nice conclusive ending. I know there's going to be some level of a time jump after the big conclusion because we've seen it with pretty much every season, especially last season. Everybody was pretty mad with the fade to black and it's like 2 days later. But I can at least stand 2 days later or a week later or something like that. I just don't want to jump way into the future and see like grown up versions of them. This one's controversial, especially for a show that's on Netflix. This is their entire model, but I think this not being a weekly release would be a huge mistake. Or at least split it into 3 parts like they're doing with Arcane Season 2. Listen, I understand this is different because the show is kind of built into 3 different acts. But still, you could break up the next season over like 3 weeks like this, giving us 2 to 3 episodes a week, and that would be much better than just all at once. I'm sorry, this is going to be an absolute event that everybody in the world is going to be watching, and I feel like it would just be 10 times better if we got to watch a few episodes or 1 episode a week, and everybody got to discuss their theories for what's going to happen. You don't have to worry about the people that sit in their bed for 12 hours on the first day and binge through the entire season and start immediately posting spoilers online of the very final scene of the season. There's definitely shows out there like Outer Banks and other Netflix properties that are perfectly fine to just be dropped in the binge format, but things from this year alone like The Penguin, The Boys earlier, Invincible, the week-to-week discussions and theories and the hype that gets built up to the very final episode is so huge and massive to the success of those shows. And I know Stranger Things doesn't need help pulling in viewers or anything, but you can't tell me it wouldn't elevate the experience. Make sure to let me know in the comments anything you do or don't want to happen in Stranger Things Season 5 and any just random predictions you have for the season. I'm interested to read all your thoughts about it, and click down below to check out my playlist where I did a bunch of videos about future movies and TV shows and things I don't want to happen in them. I got things like Avengers Doomsday, Spider-Man 4, Sonic 3, and a bunch more in this playlist, so go check it out.